is an accurate representation of what happened to that one guy while they were down there in LA. That dude he fucked around and found out. Anyway, what is going on, fellow YouTubers? This is Heath Nation 2465. Welcome to episode 31 of the Berserk and Nasty podcast. Happy Father's Day to everyone. I'm joined by a father himself, Charles. How you doing, man? How you doing?
What's happening with y'all?
And we have a special guest here today, coming to us with coverage of everything that has been happening on the west side of town. What's going on, Pops? How you doing, man?
What's going on? I am that tired. I almost missed the show, but thank God I woke up in time and made it. So.
Everyone's just been laid back. Everyone's just been doing all of anything because we're just all so exhausted by the last 2 weeks of just pandemonium. So let's talk about that pandemonium. It's the reason we have a special guest on today. We'll start off a couple photos taken here from Fox News. For those of you who don't know, there have been many protests, or we'll call it, as we see it, riots that have been happening in response to ICE and their deportations. A lot of people have taken to the streets, especially in Los Angeles. As we take a look at some of the pictures here taken by Fox News, these are the only place I have photos. I'm sure as shit ain't using Photoscapes because they just gander while taking photography. It is wild. I actually have some breaking news coming here right now. Apparently, someone released a very specific spell, and it's let an angry man out onto the streets of LA.
Okay, I'm gonna say it 3 times in the mirror. El Dorito, El Dorito, El Dorito. Where's that coming from? Are you ready to party, my little friend? He's real!
He's out on the loose somewhere. Everyone look out. El Dorito's lurking. He is lurking. Oh, snap. But
I just want to, well, Heath, you know, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think this picture, I was there. I was there when those 3 cars were on fire. And then the second one, if you go back a couple images back where it was like a dumpster fire, I was there at that one. Yeah.
This one. Right
I was right in that area right there before that fire happened. So
yeah, I was gonna get to that. So what day? So for those of you who don't know, Pops has gained a lot of notoriety because just these past streams alone, he has been covering the ICE raid protests that have been happening in LA. What day was that? Wasn't it day 2 or 3 where this happened?
I believe that was. I think it was 3. Yeah, I think it was day 3. I want to say. Yeah.
Day 2. That's when you got most of the notoriety. Like people were watching your streams left and right. And then day 3 was when the riots started to pick up a bit because of the National Guard being deployed. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when these fires happened. And I wanted to ask you, Pops, here. I got a couple questions lined up for you. You know, what made you want to go down to LA when this was all going down?
Well, so the thing is, it's kind of a long story. So I started this channel back about 10 years ago. It was a while ago that I started this channel. This was before there was any monetization or anything like that. Pretty much why I started was because it was during the Obama administration. And back then, I was kind of going out to rallies, you know, that was kind of one of the first ones I went to was a thing called overpasses for Obama's impeachment or something like that. So what people did nationwide, they would go over overpasses, hold up signs, and you know, kind of protest against Obama and his policies that were going on at the time.
Right.
And that's kind of, I think I have it in a private video for that one, but and then like we have, but obviously, you know, I'm from California, and we have a whole bunch of these gun laws that got passed during that time. And one of the gun laws that got passed was the background checks for ammo. So every time you buy ammo, you have
I remember that.
Check. Yeah. And then I used to go to gun shows all the time. Like every year I would go and buy, but like this one year after that happened, I was like, okay, you know what? I want to go record, what, like, if there's any chaos, like if there's going to be a massive amount of people to go stock up on ammo before the background check scheme starts. And I go there, and it's just a line. And pretty much that video is just me going from the entrance of the venue area and just following the line just to show people, like, hey, everyone's out here buying ammo. And just from there, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have a YouTube channel. I just started a YouTube channel and just started posting it up. And then I didn't really do much because I was working, but 2016, when President Trump first ran, and he started doing his first rallies, he was over in Anaheim. One of the places he rallied was in Anaheim at the convention center, and I live pretty close to there. So I went out there, and I think my footage is up there. I think it is for public view on my channel. So I just went out there, and I didn't have a gimbal. I just had a phones back then were not as good as they are now.
No.
So yeah, so I it wasn't a live, but I did record it, and then I just posted it up. And then a couple of years after that, I just started working, so I didn't have really time to go out to do anything. But then now I kind of like I guess switch careers, if you want to say that, switch my work, whatever. And then also it's also 2 years ago, or was it not this year, but last year, is when I met the GCA crew over at MegaCon for the G&G rallies. Yeah. So from there, like I never really wanted to do any live streams. I'm a very private person. I'm a very private individual. I don't like to really put myself out there like that, but
makes sense.
Yeah, we started doing that, and then I got kind of comfortable, just kind of learn the ropes, how to be like, how to kind of like talk on a live stream and stuff. So I got a little practice with the GCA thing, and then people were like, hey, you should start your own thing. Like I think you could do it. Like how to talk and blah 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 blah. So, and I've been trying to figure out what I wanted to do. If you look down, it's mostly like I did a little gaming streams, I did a little artwork and things like that, and just kind of random BS stuff there, right? But when this happened, I was like, well, this is originally what I wanted to do for the channel. There's stuff going on, in LA. Let's go. And to be quite honest, like when I was a 300 sub channel before all this happened for 10 plus years, it's about 300. I think I was at like 360 something.
Yeah, it was 360 when the live streams then started to take off the way they did.
Yeah, and then it just blew up, and I would have been out there if there was nobody there. If there was one person in the chat, 5 person, it wouldn't have mattered. I still would be going out there because that's originally what I wanted to do. It just so I got lucky. I don't know if you want to say God bless me, whatever you want to say. It just so happened I just blew up in that time, and here we are. So.
Makes sense. Yeah, I was the same way as you. I didn't really know how to communicate my thoughts really that good. And then YouTube was kind of like my way. I started like in 2009. I was getting bullied a lot in middle school, and I needed a YouTube platform to be able to speak my piece because I had massive stage fright and all that. So I get that part of what you're saying when it comes to like being able to speak on a big platform, So yeah, it's been a ride these last 2 weeks for sure. And, being able to get the word out and all this stuff. And it wasn't even just the fact that you were getting the word out on what was happening. It was how you were able to move from one place to another. Like me and Charles can relate. Sometimes in Cincinnati, we have a hard time finding parking in this city. Yeah. On God. And yet you're over here in LA, the biggest, like one or two biggest cities in America, just driving through like it's nobody's business. It's like, how are you able to navigate through Los Angeles with such ease? And it's a 2-part question. I'll let you answer that part, though.
Well, so I work. I don't know, profession, if you want to call it. It was supposed to be a job for going to school, but I started doing security work, like physical security, and I started doing armed security. And some of the stuff I did was like I was mobile. It was patrol, so I would have to drive around to different properties and check up on them. And that consisted mostly of like Orange County, and obviously I'm from Orange County, so I'm very familiar with the area. And then the last job I had, same thing, but I had to drive a lot in LA. from like Hollywood to Compton to South Central, and I had posts out there that I was working as well, man posts, and so and then back in the day, me and my friends, we like what we used to do was like if we got nothing to do, we just cruise around. We go to LA, just drive around, just waste time, right?
Of course.
So, yeah. So
big party city.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of got familiarized that way. And also since like LA, it's the city is like a grid pattern. It's really not too hard to navigate. It's just that you're in a big city, so like you have a stoplight every like 5 feet. It's kind of like that. But as far as like navigating it, I mean, once you kind of walk around, excuse me, if you kind of know the area, you'll start seeing the landmarks. Like, okay, this is here, this is there, this is there. So it wasn't that hard. I would say I got just through the work that I've done and like what I had to do for work, it just kind of let me familiarize myself with the area. So yeah.
Right. And it just looks intimidating when it comes to LA because like in a small city like here where I live, some highways will have like 3 to 4 lanes, easy to navigate, easy to branch off. Like LA has like entire like 8-10 lanes going just one way.
Yeah. So
at that point, it looks intimidating, but when you put it like that and just looking at landmarks and all that, it's actually not that hard.
Yeah. And it's I was born and raised in California, so it's like California traffic, the highways and all that. It's second nature, like you literally have to have a car at least in Southern California to be able to move around. Like, yeah, you could take the bus, public transport, but nobody really wants to. The buses run late and all that. It's like you really need to have a car, and I think that kind of goes throughout America as well. Like America is a vehicular country. Like everyone kind of does need a car to survive, at least in America. So it's like you just experience, I guess, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I remember it was your second stream, the one that blew up really, and I remember how are you able to find where most of the action was going in? I heard, wasn't there like a police radio that you had in your car or something?
So I do have a police scanner in my car, but pretty much it was just through like Twitter and stuff, and like I was kind of late, like so I got there like in the afternoon, right? I think that so the incident in Compton Paramount that really popped off probably like 10 a.m. because they started doing arrests around 9 is what the news report said. So it was going on all morning, all day. And pretty much I just woke up and I just happened to scroll through Twitter and like it just said, protest riots going on in Paramount. I was like, wait, I'm like, Paramount's right there. Let's go. It was simple as that, really. Like it wasn't really anything too complicated.
So here it is right here, the Paramount stream and all that. And this was on June 7th. Mm-hmm. Most of us are watching the WWE pay-per-view because they had Worlds Collide at the Kia Forum where the Warriors play now. Then Money in the Bank was a mile away at the old Clippers arena. How far were you from those venues? Because I know those venues had a lot of Hispanics in the audience and Latinos. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just got on the streets and like, oh, there's a riot going on. Let's go.
Yeah. So Paramount Compton is about I would say like 15 minutes away from LA downtown LA proper. So, and the area where the WWE thing was held, it's pretty much it's like 5 minutes away from downtown. So that's like kind of like the whole downtown LA area. So it's like Compton and Paramount is not like right next to like downtown LA, like the proper city, but it's not that far.
It's its own section because it's Inglewood. Am I
right?
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember watching. I'm even texting. I'm like, "How far are you from the arenas? How far are you from the arenas?" It got soaked in because of all the people that were texting and all that. And I wanted to, obviously, right here we see the what is this? The security? Is this LAPD? They're SWAT.
No, this is LA County Sheriffs. So LAPD is for like the city proper. So it'd be like kind of like South Central, like Hollywood, downtown LA, like that area. This is more kind of like the outskirts, like the suburban area of LA County.
Okay.
But tell the truth, it wasn't that bad out there, was it?
I mean,
the media overhyping it, ain't they?
I like a little bit. I mean, so the thing is, it's really weird because like the group, like okay, I don't know if you remember the scene where there's like the people behind the dumpsters that were kind of like it was just a few people that were actually like agitating. Most of the people were rowdy, of course. It was kind of like a party, but like that's the thing with these things. It's a mixed group. Like most of the people out there were just kind of waving flags, maybe a lot of yelling, cursing at the cops and things like that. But it was just a handful it's always just a handful of people that get rowdier than the crowd, and they just throw bottles, rocks, and like, it's just it's I'm not going to say that all of them were doing that. It's a small group, I'll give them that. You know what I mean? So,
what part of the city where I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this in the VOD, but where was the point where there had I don't know if you can hear me. I'm kind of I'm having a bad connection here.
No, I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Where was the area where Hassan Piker was at? Because I know he was down there with a fuck ton of people, and they were getting rowdy, and I think it was the same area where they were throwing the rocks down at the police officers.
Yeah, that was downtown LA. That was that's where the federal building is, the federal detention center, and that's where like Union Station and City Hall is for LA. So that was like right in the center, and the freeway where that was all happening is the 101 freeway, which cuts through between the Union Station and that federal center. So it goes right through the city pretty much. So yeah,
it's like basically at the heart of everything. So of course it's going to have the most activity. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what it was. The biggest groups was in downtown LA. That was the largest group that I have seen going throughout all the cities and stuff. So I wanted to ask, when it came to all the commotion and everything that was happening and all the hot spots that were going on, whether it be during the raid riots, I'm going to call it as I see it, or during the No Kings, which, by the way, stupid name for a movement. I'm just going to throw it out there. What were some key takeaways from your streams? Like, what were some good, like, you don't have to get to like a list, but like some good moments, some bad moments. Like, what were some key takeaways from doing these streams and streaming all this action?
Okay. Well, I'll start with the good. So the good was that the majority of the people out there, whether you agree with them or not, they were out there to be peacefully, protesting and make their voices heard. And then also, I like, okay, in this city right here in Compton, I actually got a lot of love out there. Like, I had one guy. So you have people that are recording, and that it's fair to say they're either from the neighborhood or they're close to the neighborhood. They're kind of doing what I'm doing, right? Just kind of documenting stuff. And they're just like, they're watching me run around, and they're like, dude, look at like one guy. I remember one guy, he had a whole setup too, like a whole setup, and like he was good to go. And
I think I remember the guy. Was it later in the night or was it like before the sunset?
No, it was during the day. It's like kind of when I first got out there. It was like
I think I remember that because that's when I started tuning in. But go ahead.
Yeah. So the guy saw me. He's just like, "Hey man, look at this fool. This guy's crazy. He's gonna get all the good stuff." Like and then like, yeah. And then towards the end of the night, when I was going back to my car, it was when I was at the police sign off the side street right there. I was going back to my car, and there was a guy. He was sitting out front. I'm walking by. The guy's like, "Yo, I'm watching you right now. I'm watching you right now." And then like, yeah. And then that happened in LA as well. A couple nights after that, where I was walking back to my car, and some dude just like he's driving by, and I'm waiting at the stop sign to cross, and he like slows down, has his windows down. He's like, "Yo, I'm watching you right now." Like it was pretty funny. like that was kind of the cool thing. That was, and yeah, like I said, the good thing was like for the majority of the people, they are there. You know, they were being peaceful. They were, you know, tensions are high. Obviously, people are angry about what's going on, so you know they're yelling and stuff. But you know, that was like I said, for the most part, it was there. People were trying to be peaceful, but then I'll get into the bad part. Is that you know you have these instigators that are in there, and then like you have. So there's like two types of instigators, right? So you have like a group of people that are just kind of like they're not organized, they're just regular people, and they're just kind of like getting their anger out. So they'll just start, and you know, like the thing is, a lot of people that are out there, they're like drinking, weed, then like they're all kinds of messed up, right? They're all high, whatever, right?
They're just looking for an adrenaline rush, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, and then they're kind of like. You know, like yelling at, like really trying to get aggressive with the cops, like throwing stuff at them and stuff. But then the third group of people is, I'm sure you've seen them from other protests or riots, whatever you want to call them. They're the guys that are in all black. If you want to call them Antifa, whatever, you know, all black, all mask. And these guys they're now, I'm not going to say that all these people know each other, but these are the guys that are organized, whether through their own little group or through like a larger group, right? And these guys are the ones that worried me a lot because it wasn't even here. Here it was like, you know, it was chaotic, but like it's mostly in downtown LA because it
was a smooth tension, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But like the downtown LA one, because that's the big protest, the major one. These guys were out there, and I noticed like throughout the night, like they knew I think they started noticing me. And they were either talking with each other, you know, texting back and forth or whatever. So like I would go to one because I never stay in one spot. I keep moving. I'll take footage from one spot, go another one just to find different groups and stuff. I see what's going on. But like I noticed, like every time I'd stop, like some fucking guy would just kind of like not walk up, but kind of like slither on, just kind of like be next to me. And you know, I'm always looking. So I see this guy. I'm like, okay. I start moving, and another guy comes up, and not even comes up, but just kind of like walks by watching. So. It's a very eerie feeling, and then also I almost got jumped as well. Like I was walking by, and like this guy was doing something in his car. As soon as I walk by, he stops what he's doing and starts following me, and then his friend starts following me too. And like I noticed that, so I just kind of like cut off, and then they stopped. They're like, okay, like this he's on to us. He knows that we're following him. Blah blah. So you know it was that too, and then and you know what? And also it's it was kind of also the police too. In Orange County, I had the Orange County cops were very cool with us, like because like they knew like me, and then I met two other guys on the ground there that were journalists as well, and they were really cool with us because they knew we weren't a threat. But in LA, they don't care. Like you've seen the footage of the I think she's the anchor woman from Australia. They got shot. I think a couple other like news reporters got shot with rubber bullets and stuff like that. But in LA, they don't care.
Sorry to cut you off. I remember the one scene where you were going down this, like, I think it was like a park, or it might have been this stream or day 3. Mm-hmm. You were going through this dark park, right? Mm-hmm. You come out, and next thing you know, there's this line of policemen. It might have been downtown. And they shoot like a warning shot at you. Yeah. And you're like, all right, I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Yeah. No, that was the same night that I almost got jumped. And it was that was a little bit before that. Because so what it was a bridge it was an overpass. And then like it goes to the next street. And then, so there's a stairwell that goes down to the next street over. So I started going down, and like they shined their light at me. So I kind of stepped back, and then someone threw a firework right next to me. And I think they thought I did that. Yeah, just boom, and then just like I'm like, okay, all right, and then just like all I hear is a ping, like whatever they shot hit the handrail right next to me, and that's I was like, okay, all right, we're going, we're leaving, we're moving, we're moving back.
Pack it up. I'll see you guys later.
yeah. So yeah, like the LAPD cops, LAPD and sheriffs, they don't care. Like everyone's a threat to them. It doesn't matter who you are. You know, if you get too close, you know, like. You're a threat, and they will deal with you accordingly. So.
Right, because I always in these situations. It's almost like wartime. Almost, it's like you're in these hot zones, and these officers don't tell if you're someone that's just there recording, or if you're someone that's looking to do damage. So they always have that little switch in the back of their head. It's like, okay, I'm feeling uncomfortable. It's time to disperse these people.
Wait, y'all heard what the Florida sheriff said to people?
Oh my God, that was some shit.
They don't mess around in Florida. They don't mess around out there.
No, they don't.
He straight up said, "We're gonna kill y'all."
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. Well, he and I wanted to say the thing is too, with the people. So what I noticed too is like anyone that wears all black and they have their face covered like the Antifa type, the ninja looking dudes or whatever.
Right.
Those guys, I'm always watching out for those guys because it could just be that they're all just wearing black because they want to kind of they either want to like intimidation or they're like kind of like they're LARPing in a way like but like you'll see people with cameras too. Those people with cameras, and I think what it is that it's kind of a tactic, just like how they kind of try to blend in with like the peaceful crowd and stuff, right? It's a cover. So the police, like, if you look, like if you're just, let's just say at the bottom line, if you're just independent or whatever, right? They're just going to assume that you're with the crowd is the thing. So like, you have to take a lot of steps to make sure that you differentiate yourself, that like you stay kind of as far away as possible. You don't mingle in with the crowds. You kind of have to just make yourself kind of shown that like, hey, I'm here by myself. I am not with these guys, but that's just, even then that's not 100% guarantee of safety or anything like that. So like, these guys will do things to blend in. Like they have these tactics that they use to kind of like not get discovered. You know what I mean? So. And
also another thing, you brought up the point about, they might be a part of a certain group. I always in my head think that they're in like different, like, communities on like Facebook or Discord. They might not be associated with those groups per se, but because they're a part of the movement, they want to be able to have, different people talking to them left and right. So that way they can carry out like chaos while staying independent from a certain group. I feel like that's what a lot of these mass guys do. They'll just go onto Facebook or Twitter or to their WhatsApp groups or their Discord groups and be like, oh, there's a suspicious figure over here is being reported by this community, and they'll just follow the buzzards, as Bray Wyatt always said. R.I.P.
And that's fair. That's a very fair statement. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
But another thing to note about these streams blew up the way that they did. This one here, 110,000 views. If we go over here, 3.9 thousand. A lot of the other stuff,
the past yesterday, I kind of boomered the stream. I kept on accidentally getting out of those streams. It would have the one I did yesterday. It would have been more, but just kind of I kept on messing up the stream. So like, it just
like lags out on you because that's how the Wi-Fi be down there. 6.3, 6.7, 4.3. All this stuff. And if we look in this chat, like right, just in this particular seed, it wasn't just the GCA that was watching you. You had Kirsch watching you, or I can't pronounce her name to save my life.
Kirsha, I think Kirsha.
Yeah. And then you had D-Day Cobra also watching you. I think several news outlets got a hold of your stream, like Live Now from Fox did at one point.
That's what I heard, but the one Fox clip, one of my mods, April Drifter, he was able to get a clip off of Fox News. It was one of those autonomous vehicles being burned, and it was just a real quick clip of me just kind of going through. So, but that's what I heard people were telling me. It's like, dude, you're on like these news outlets just popping up randomly. I was like, really? Like, okay, all right, cool.
And it's not just like people that are just streaming you. You've got people in the community. I think I know Jay Drunk 3PO was watching. My Nerdy Home stepped in at one point. I think it was this stream right here. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Maybe Gary was in there at one point, or Disparu.
I think I know Yellow Flash was watching. He was streaming. But the chat was going real fast, so I didn't even know. It was just like I just saw like a quick thing, like, oh, this person's and this person's, and so I just shout them out real quick, and like that was kind of like, so I don't really know, like I didn't really know like how many people.
So you have all these eyes on you. How are you able to deal with that's the stress that comes with that attention, and just the fact that oh my God, so many people are watching my stream right now. Like, how are you able to deal with that pressure?
You know what? I didn't really think about it. It was pretty much, I was just thinking about the mission. I was thinking about, what, I'm getting coverage. I want to do my call outs. I want to give as much information as possible. And that was it. I wasn't really thinking about, oh my God, like this person's in here, this person's in here. I mean, obviously, like, I'm like, obviously I'm excited, of course. I'm like, oh wow, like, these big streamers are watching, and they're telling me to, like, be careful and all that, like, obviously. But for the most part, I really wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking like, let's go here, let's cover this. Where's the next spot I'm going to go to? What's the next thing I'm going to do? Like, what's the information on the ground right now? And that was about it. And then obviously just letting my chat know, I'm watching you guys, just shouting out my chat, things like that. So it was just kind of, I was just kind of just doing my thing, just doing my own thing, really.
Right. You never really seem to let it bother you. And when you watch these, like just 5 minutes of the chat rolling down at any point, right? It's not just famous, like popular guys in our community. You got people that are on the right, they support MAGA, they support Donald Trump, they support ICE doing their thing. And then you get another group of people that are just like, this is horse shit, this is all bullshit, fuck ICE, fuck Donald Trump, all this other stuff. It's like the fact that you were able to, like, keep such decorum and, just continue streaming and just not let it bother you. I couldn't have been able to do it. Like, I'm pretty biased towards one side, but the fact that you were just like, have at it, everyone. We're just here to stream. We're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely have my opinions on the situation that's going on, right? Like, everyone has their opinions on stuff, right? But like, when I do these streams, this is what I tell people in the chat, whatever. When I do these streams, I'm trying to be as non-biased as possible. I just want to go out there, capture the footage, just show people what's going on. And that's it. I was telling the chat the whole night, like, hey, look, you guys could come in here, say whatever you want, just don't say anything's gonna get me banned, or just just be respectful, and you guys have a discussion. That's fine. I don't want to be in an echo chamber. If my views are wrong, if I find out my views are wrong, I will change it. You know what I mean? But like, yeah. So it's and like, of course, and that's the thing, like, no person is truly unbiased. Everyone has their biases, right? But it's just kind of how you conduct yourself if you're doing these kinds of things, and how you conduct yourself just day to day, and just so it's it just it's I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
it makes perfect sense. You want to have a welcoming environment while also getting the news out, just getting out, hey, this is what's really happening, because it's really hard for any media, for example. It doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right. There's a lot of things that they get right, but there's a ton of things that they get wrong. So it's hard to find that balance. And it's just like, you're just like, hey, let's go out here. Let's see what the real story is, Yeah.
Pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Whatever my biases are, what are my opinions, when I do these things, it does not matter. It does not matter. And that's the thing too. I had people like, dude, like, if I was out there, I would have either, depending who you talk to, they're like, dude, I would have been out there. I would have been like supporting them. I would have been, yelling, blah, 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 blah. And other people, like, I would have been yelling at them, telling them, go back to your fucking country, blah, blah, blah. Like, how do you do it? I'm like, well, that's the thing. That's my point. Like, I'm not there to do that. If I wanted to go protest, if I wanted to support whatever side, then I would go out there. And I wouldn't be, covering like I would. You know what I mean? But that's not my mission. That's not what I'm there for. I'm there, and that's why that's why I'm running around both sides, going through where the police are, going to where the protesters are, because I want people to see this is what the police have to do, this is what they're doing, and then go to the other side. This is what these guys are doing. So that's pretty much it.
But when you get involved in these situations, you also put yourself at risk too, especially in this day and age. I talked about this on the GCA. Actually, you might have seen my comment on the I think it was on the general page a couple days ago, and I actually talked about it on one of my other streams. You know, the dangers of IRL streaming now again.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. So, like the dangers of IRL streaming, you know, we have this whole thing where Vitaly and Johnny Somali are doing stupid shit in different countries. And we had just recently this whole thing in Las Vegas where a dude shoots another guy and pisses some YouTube beef. And then there was this other story in Mexico where a woman gets shot in a salon while she's doing a TikTok stream. All while after she just got a gift from someone that she thought was just delivering a present. Next thing you know, it's a hitman. So it's like you got to be careful getting into those situations. It's always best to just stay back. Speaking of which, I just want to ask this quick question before I get to my final question, because I know you have to go in a couple minutes. I don't want to waste your time here. How far are you from that white van that was going ape shit?
No, I was I was pretty far. So the thing was originally I was in that area when that happened. Or not when it happened, it was before it happened. I was in that area just checking it out. It was during the day, and it was starting to get heated, but like I wanted to go back to this area, which is Compton Paramount, just to see, because people will tell me, oh, National Guard's on scene and you know there's looting and blah 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 blah. So I was like, okay, we're gonna hop down over there real quick. And then so I drove through there and it was quiet, nothing was going on. But when I was down there is when my chat was telling me, dude, there's a guy in a van running people over, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh crap. And then like I started heading back towards that way. And I think by the time that incident was closed, I think the police might have, when I got back to downtown LA, I think they might have already arrested the driver at that point. So I was pretty far away at the time.
He crashed into like a pole or a parked car, or he was trying to hide. And the spotlight, the news camera, the spotlights on the helicopter are like, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
So one last question here. I want to ask, what is the main thing that you wanted to, because you've been hinting at it ever since we began this stream, but I wanted to ask the true question now. What is the main thing you wanted to get out of this whole experience? All these streams, what was the main goal of all of this?
Main goal was documentation. It's just to show what's really going on because, you know, and here's the thing. So when the BLM stuff happened back in 2020, right? It's not even just that, but you know, the news, there's so much misinformation, and most of these guys, they're in, you know, they don't go into the action. They don't really show what's going on, right? And that's just what I wanted to do. I wanted to be on the ground as if, you know, I was one of the protests, not maybe one of the protests, but as if you were there. Like when you guys are watching, I wanted it to be as if you guys are there, if everyone's there, you know, watching literally what's going on right now. And, you know, that's what I wanted to show and have a record of these kinds of major incidences going on. And I know YouTube at any time could wipe all this clean, and I get that. But during the time that these things are, you know, still posted up, not only is it people in America watching this, but there's people internationally watching this. So it's already going to be out in the ether. And you know how the internet is. Once anything goes on the internet, you could try to scrub as much as you want, but it's already out there somewhere. The data is already out there. So I figured it's just kind of just like, I'm going out there, I'm going to document it, and just boom, it'll go out there. If people really like it, they'll share it, they'll save it or whatever. And like, there's going to be a record. So yeah, it's boots on the ground, in real time, in real life viewing, and then also for documentation purposes.
There you have it right there. All I say, Pops, is just keep doing what you're doing. I'll have your back there 100%, man.
Thank you.
Keep fighting the good fight. Keep getting the word out there. I'm going to post the link to your YouTube channel right there, and I'll also edit my description. Do you have anything planned coming up?
Well, God, for now, a lot of sleep, a lot of rest. We'll see what's going on. I told my chat last night I was going to probably, you know, go on and just kind of like maybe just cover what the news is covering and just kind of maybe talk about it. But I keep on forgetting. I scheduled a bunch of shows I'm going to do. So, but you know what? I think June 19th, which is Juneteenth, I think something might happen then too. So we'll definitely, keep our eyes and ears open for that. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, this whole thing could just be a fluke. It could just be a one-time thing, after all this dies down, or it could be more stuff going on. So we'll just play it by ear, and we'll see what happens.
There you have it. I can't wait. If it does break, you know what stream I'll be on. That's for damn sure. That is it for this episode of the Berserk and Nasty podcast. Huge thanks to you, Pops, for taking this opportunity to come on this stream. Speak your piece, answer some questions.
My pleasure.
Get the good stuff out there. Keep up the good fight, man. I'm gonna end the stream right here. If you guys would like to see more of Pops, the YouTube channel is here in the chat. I also will put it in the description after we go off air here. And if you like to see more interviews like this, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel with notifications on. We'll be back next Sunday. Of course, the Club World Cup's coming up. I got a big documentary ahead of me, especially since we have one of those Mexican teams coming here to Cincinnati. So it's like, I don't know. Let's see if there are any ICE agents that follow suit or any protests, really, because Cincinnati, they can get going if they really wanted to, honest to God. So there you have it. That'll be it for this stream. Again, thank you, Pops, so much for coming on. And I will see you guys later.